What's up, guys? How you doing? So another quick tutorial today in how to do something that is very important in your E36, E46, E30, E92, or most likely any other BMW that is going to be used for racing purposes, which is how to add a second fuel pump in your chassis. So let's do this. So as you guys know, the E36 has the fuel pump in the passenger side of the fuel tank. So basically, if you're looking at your car back to front, that is, my front, basically my driver's side and my passenger side. And in the passenger side is where you're gonna find your fuel pump, right under the passenger seat and in this little cap. So basically what we're going to do is that we're going to add another identical fuel pump assembly, but in the passenger side. Over there is your fuel pump sender. Basically it sends the fuel from this side to the side, but after, if you're racing and you happen to go half a tank or below, you're gonna start finding fuel starvation. So basically, I wanna teach you how to add that second fuel pump in that side. So please excuse the madness, but first things first, you gotta take the passenger side cap out, and this has four little Phillips heads. Sorry, trying to do this with one hand is not easy. And then the next thing that you have to do, take the cap out, and this is going to be kind of pretty tight because of this connector right here. So unplug that connector. And once you unplug that connector, which is just a simple connector, you get to see the cap where the fuel sender is. So let's take those hoses and caps and I'll show you the rest. So from here on, what we gotta do is take out the two hoses, which you guys know what to do, and remove the hoses from the actual sender. So just in my case, I have this stainless steel hose. I broke this hose in the past. So basically, I put the stainless steel that fed back to my fuel pump. So yours will not look like that. Yours will be an actual rubber hose, but it does the exact same thing. So don't worry in how it looks. So anyway. So one hose out, and here is the other. So now we gotta take this cap off, and the easiest way to do it is to just grab a hammer. I forgot to bring mine, and to take, actually, there you go, and to hit this cap off with your hand. And it is fairly tight, so basically once you loosen it, you take it out. Actually, let's move this hoses over here. So you take this cap out and you take the fuel sender and voila. Now that we have the fuel sender out, let's actually show you what is needed to add the second fuel pump in that side. So now that we got the the fuel pump sender out, basically what we're going to do with it is throw it away. What we need is another fuel pump assembly. So what I did in my case, I straight up just went to the junkyard and I got the fuel pump assembly, a used fuel pump assembly. I got the little gasket. Actually, this is a new gasket. I bought it for like $7 at O'Reilly's. And as well as the pigtails. So you absolutely need a new fuel pump assembly, the pigtail, both. The ones that have, both connections, because this has two connections, right there, and this little seal. So basically, now let's put the fuel pump in the actual assembly, and from there install it in the right side. So I'm not gonna go super full into detail into how to change your fuel pump on the OEM hanger. There are tons of videos on YouTube how to do that, but what I'm gonna do is just show you, some basic tricks. For example, the OEM hose, it's a freaking to freaking take off just like that. It is impossible. So what I do, the way how I've done it in the past, I just grab a little razor blade and I cut over here. I just make like a little slice in this area. So once I do that, basically, once I do that, I just basically slit. I don't know if you guys could see it in there, that part right there. Anyway, I just slit it and I just pull it out. Super freaking simple. Another thing that you have to do in order for this to go in the driver's side of the fuel tank is that you have to rotate this fuel gauge assembly, whatever thing. So right now, if you notice a pump, this is facing this way like this. We have to make it face that way, so it goes like that. So basically what we do, it's super simple. You just pull this little pin out, and it's actually quite simple to do so. There you go, just like that. And then you take this, you push it up on the spring and you move it to the side, and then basically it just came off. You guys could see it. And then, just kind of so you guys could see it again, it is sitting this way. So once you take it off, you just rotate it this way, basically the assembly or the little gauge or whatever to look towards the outside, and then put it back in. There you go. So you rotated it, what, 25 degrees or 90 degrees, I'm sorry. So now rather than going this way, it goes this way. So you guys see? It will touch the housing a little bit, but it doesn't really matter too much as long as it's moved to the side. So now we could go ahead and put the fuel pump in the actual thing. So now that we changed that into position, now it's time to install the fuel pump. Super simple. Basically, I personally like to use automotive products. I've been using them for a few years and they never failed me. So, and the one that I particularly use for my OEM tank, it is part number 11541. So basically what it is the OEM fuel pump, but it is not the outlet. It is not right in the middle. It is offset. So this is extremely important for you guys to order. It has to be offset because if not, it's gonna be a pain to route the hose and bend it basically. So anyway, this kit comes with a fuel pump, with a hose, with a sleeve. It comes with a pigtail, the positive pigtail, positive and negative. It comes with a filter, of course, and the little hose clamps. In this case, I've already cut, basically, this little pigtail was already in the fuel pump, and I already cut it and wired this, or stripped this, cables. And I'm gonna show you why I did that right now. So basically, the reason why I did that is because I am not going to use the cables that Aeromotive gave me. If not, I would have to make a hole in here and then basically, fill it with some sort of sealant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewire, or I'm going to wire in the Aeromotive's pump to the actual OEM assembly cables. So basically those two. And the easiest way to do that, it is first and foremost to measure the length of the hose that is going to go in between the fuel pump to the actual housing itself. So basically you just put the fuel pump in there and take a rough estimate. So I see it that is around there. So this is how much I have to cut. So I'm gonna make a little cut of my hose. So there you go. Cut the hose in two. Damn, sounds nasty. And from there, I am going to put this hose and the little clamp in the fuel pump. So try to put it in a way that it doesn't really conflict with the actual housing itself. So make sure the little clamping part is sitting inside the fuel pump, not in the outside like this, but like this. So let me grab a screwdriver. Where's my screwdriver? There you go. Make sure it's nice and tight. And then the next thing to do, it is to put the fuel pump in the actual housing. So what I do, I actually do two things. You could take this thing out if you want to, with all these little rubber hoses, which, why not? Let's do it that way. It's gonna be super easy. And I already have them taken out anyway. So, there you go. So you just take them out. And something else that I do is that I actually grab another clamp and I put it in here afterwards to secure it. This does not come with a kit, so you just go to your O'Reilly's or Home Depot or whatever, and then just buy a regular clamp. But anyway, for right now, what we're gonna do is that we put the house, or the, whatever this thing is called, the sleeve, inside this little housing. And then what we're going to do is slide the fuel pump down. It's gonna be much easier to slide it up, simply because of the protective, this little grooves over here. So slide it down. Sometimes it's a little tricky, but there it is. And then from there, what we want to do, it is measure the actual distance in between the housing and the hose. So we put it back in here. As you guys could see, I am basically in the perfect location in there. So before I actually connect this hose to the actual fitting, I am going to put these little rubber things back so I do not overstretch them afterwards. And it could be very easy to assemble laterally. So cool. Now all three little rubber pieces are there, and then basically those rubber pieces are little hangers. They react like a little suspension thing. But I did something very stupid. I put those in and I forgot to install that hose, so whoops. So what we're going to have to do is just move the fuel rail down a little bit. Make sure you have the clamp ready, and put the hose in and push it back up. Sometimes it's a little easy to put, like some little WD-40, which that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So like that, the rubber could slide a little bit better. There you go, just a tiny bit, not too much. And perfect. Now it is fully sitting in there, as you guys could see. And then of course, tighten this little thing again. So even though I said that I wasn't gonna give you a full tutorial on how to change your fuel pump, well, there it is. That's exactly how you change your fuel pump. So now it is nice and tight and cool. So what we have to do now, it is just wire the fuel pump cables to the actual housing cables, because we're going to use the OEM pigtails. So the easiest way to do this, it is just with the crimp tool, whatever thingy, and then a sleeve. So the ones I like to use are these insulated wire connectors. You could buy literally 200 pieces for like $7 on Amazon. So you grab some of those, you strip the cables to your desiring length. In this case, I am going to use two blue ones. They are a little thicker than the red ones. And the reason being is because the actual fuel pump wirings are a little thicker than the assembly, just a tiny bit. And don't worry about it. That thickness does not make a big difference. So I'm actually going to take a little bit more of the housing cable so I could have more to play with, and I'll show you why I'm doing that. And all you electricians are about to roast me right now, but that's the way how I've done it for years, and I haven't had any single issue. But anyway, so you put the blue connector, you know, negative. There you go. And you crimp it. And there you go. And then you grab, of course, the other ground. And if you guys notice, you know, I did take a little more than it was necessary. And the reason being is because this particular connector went for the thinner insulated crimple thing. So what I do is I just bend it a tiny bit. I kind of make like a little U-ey, like that. I don't know if you guys could see it. And then I put it inside so it fits and it's not loose. I've done it like that for many years, and it's worked for me. I'm not an electrician. I'm not asking you to do it, but you do it to your desired electric things. Anyway, we got the first one, as you guys could see. Now let's do the second one. Cool. So now that we have both of them together and secured, the reason why I like this insulated ones is because literally they shrink to the actual wiring if you apply some heat. So come on, work. You're on camera. There you go. No. Yeah. And just apply some heat. I think it's being shy right now. Don't be like me. Don't do this. Just apply a tiny hit from very far away because you're not supposed to be doing it like this. And it's gonna shrink nice and smooth. I don't know if you guys could see it, but you're not supposed to be burning it like that, but anyway, it is done. Make sure you get yourself a nice little torch. Don't be like me. And yep, it's there. And that's that. So basically what happens is that shrinks to the actual wiring, and like that you don't have any potential, you know, hazardous stuff. So now let's put it in the tank. Wait, I forgot to tell you that I like to put this little ring. I forgot to put it beforehand, but I put another clamp in the upper side of the housing simply for more security. I've always done it. It's kind of like my thing. The hose should be able to hold perfectly fine, but I just like to do it myself. I've always done it. So in this case, let's go. So you guys could see it's in there. And I just press it tight enough, not too tight, but tight enough so if the actual sleeve decides to disintegrate because of the gas or E85 or whatever you guys are running, the actual pump does not take out, that does not fall.